Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Woo! How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Game Over Toronto, powered by Sports Interaction. Sports betting is on everyone's mind right now, and Sports Interaction is Canada's sportsbook. Before the game starts, live in play, or how your favorite players will perform, Canada plays at SIA, doing it right since 1997. With the most competitive odds, Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Head over to sportsinteraction.com/SDP. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDP. 19 or older, and please play responsibly. Now, I'm here with my constant co-host, Armand. My name's Harnish, and we're here to break down this banger of a game.
What a game.
Banger! I
We've
cannot
done
believe
two
it.
game overs, and both of them have been ridiculously good.
60-0 for the first
Ridiculously
one,
good.
5-0 win against a back-to-back Stanley Cup Champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Game one. Oh my God. Who was expecting that? Who was expecting that? I cannot think, dude, I was looking up the NHL.com predictions, before on the series. So many people thought we would lose, pretty handedly.
You know who did
very
it?
few people had it. We were an underdog to most guys.
Hey, I like being the underdog.
Statement game. I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. I like that
We're gonna
mentality.
beat them, and they're gonna feel it.
Dude, that was such a statement game. I cannot believe that happened. That is the best I think I've ever seen the Leafs in the playoffs. Ever in my memory of life.
Yeah.
I cannot remember being that calm
My
in a
hands,
playoff game.
dude, the whole entire time, we saw Steve's heart rate at 130, peaking at 135 or something. I was in the same boat. I'm like, Steve,
But dude,
we're both not gonna make it today, dude.
As the game went on, it went down. And that speaks to how well we played. That was amazing. That was such a good game. I cannot say enough good things about that. I love it.
It was a domination.
We're so much to talk about.
So much. And it was a domination from start to finish. That's what I loved. But was this even a hockey game? The penalties? Are you kidding? I think okay.
How many? Yeah, how many?
I kept track of it.
Yeah.
Again, there were so many penalties. I could have got this wrong, so please forgive me if I didn't get this right. But I believe there was 98 minutes of penalties handed out to a ton of players.
No
Dude,
way. 98?
There was 10-minute misconduct in the third alone. 10-minute misconduct, 5-minute major, another 10-minute misconduct, another 10 misconduct, another 5, another 2, another 2.
Tens at the end. Was that because of the Simmons?
That was because
line
of
brawl?
that brawl. That was because of the line brawl.
Damn.
They gave
were
out
really
tens like crazy on that.
They were
believe
really
it.
giving out penalties.
Mhm.
Usually, especially, so much of the Leafs discourse around their playoff play in recent seasons has been the fact that penalties aren't really a thing in the playoffs. You hear that so much, right? Penalties, they throw away the whistle. We're talking. You need to play really tough and gritty, and then 5 minutes into the game, Clifford's out.
Armand,
because he threw a horrible, god-awful hit.
Let me just say one thing. So we're getting some people in the chat. They're clarifying it. It wasn't 98. It was 102.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's insane.
And Sheldon Keefe perfectly predicted it. He said at the beginning of this series, he came out and said he was expecting a borderline violent series against the Lightning. He said, when I look at their playoffs, especially their first round last year, they definitely led the league in skirmishes after the whistle. He knew that it was going to get gritty, and I think that was
this game.
Yeah, and I think that was why Kyle Clifford was put in. But it was a horrendous penalty. I couldn't believe what I saw initially when I saw that happen, because the puck didn't seem like it was anywhere near Colton, and he goes in and just cross-check on the numbers.
It would have been an interference if it wasn't a hit from behind.
Yeah,
that
was wild. He deserved that game and 5-minute major, but I'm looking at that 5-minute major and that game, and obviously you don't want to see that. You don't want to see a player get injured. That was a dirty hit. It could have been a big injury implication, right? But the Leafs came back, had three breakaway attempts on that penalty kill, and they limited the Lightning to one shot. It got so bad to the point where Kerfoot had an opportunity to get a breakaway goal, hit the bar, and then it just didn't go anywhere. We had an opportunity to probably go up 2-0 in that.
No, that would have been the first goal, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we had so many chances. Though is what I'm trying to say. Like they were. It was phenomenal to see.
That penalty kill
chef's kiss
was a thing of beauty. And like when Clifford took that penalty, I had the biggest sinking like feeling in my gut. Because that like he took it so early in the game. Like we already had Brody take that.
Exactly.
Penalty.
I was just gonna say that. At that point, it was 7 minutes of penalty play or 10 minutes of actual gameplay. It was wild.
And, like we couldn't, once you take a penalty right off the get-go like Brody did, it's hard to get into a rhythm. Right. You give the opposing team so much momentum because they should be in your end lighting you up with shots.
Oh yeah.
And then when you take a 5-minute major right after, it becomes even worse because if they score on the power play, they keep it. Like they pretty much have the next 5 minutes to do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
And we ran their shit in.
It was
we
wild.
did not give them anything at all. The penalty kill in this game was something that I've never seen in a Leafs team like prior to this year.
Man.
And that says enough about like
I might
the
start crying,
mindset
man.
change and the roster changes we've made with adding guys who are so good, like David Kampf on the penalty, and and the emergence, or not even the emergence, the improvements we've seen from guys like Mikheyev, Engvall, and Kerfoot, because they were on the team last year.
Even Marner.
And I think a lot of and I think a lot of the improvements on the penalty kill are not only to Dubas for getting the roster changes that we've made, but also to I want to say it's either Spencer Carberry or Dean Chenoweth. I can't think of off the top of my head who does the PP and who does the penalty kill. But either way, 2 new assistant coaches on this team. Top power play in the league and a damn good penalty kill. And we saw that tonight. And special teams are so important to win
especially
hockey games
against like a tough team where you're both neck and neck, honestly, right? Both teams are super competitive. Any little inch that you can get above your competitor, that could make the difference. And that gave us and made the whole difference for the game today. It was off of our special teams. Because again, like the whole game was essentially a power play
or a
penalty kill. Yeah, it was either or. Our special teams were phenomenal. They played so well. And I do want to say, despite the game ending 5-0, Vasilevsky also had a great game. So he saved
for the especially for the first
initially
half, I would say.
Exactly. He saved them a lot because I believe in the first period it was 1-0, right? Vasilevsky.
The first period was just 1-0, and Vasi was the reason for that. We really did play well. But with that being said, that penalty that Clifford took is the dumbest penalty that I think I've seen in a playoffs since like Kadri, getting suspended for like the
all
rest
the
of the
time.
Series, you cannot take a 5 in a game like 5 minutes into the series as a fourth liner. We saw Clifford ruin our chances at a comeback in the regular season by taking a stupid holding penalty in the offensive zone against Nashville. I don't know how many games ago, but we were kind of mounting a comeback and he just ruined our momentum like that. This is the type of stuff that will get you benched. And to me, I never really liked the idea of, sitting Spezza to play Clifford.
You mentioned that in our last game too. You said you loved seeing Spezza, and I agreed.
Yeah,
he played
Spezza's
phenomenally
clutch,
that
man.
game. Yeah,
Spezza's so clutch, and like he's not like, to me it like blows my mind because I understand you want to play violent and you want to, or not necessarily you want to play violent.
You want to be able to step up and be able to protect your players if they're playing chippy. Agreed.
Against violence, I should say. And like Spezza's a big dude, he's thrown hands for us when we were down and out, and he's caused comebacks. He's such a clutch player.
Yeah.
To me, taking him out for Clifford only makes sense if Spezza feels he's not like conditioned correctly, like if he's tired or something like that.
Hey, well, he's gonna have an opportunity the next game anyways, right? Because now that Clifford's out,
the next game,
it's 100% gonna be Spezza. There's no way you put in anybody
I don't
else.
understand why we did that in the first place. To me, like that could have screwed us. Like I don't think people really get that this game could have gone an entirely different direction.
Yeah,
the
Leafs got momentum. Just carry on momentum. There you go.
Yeah, it's a momentum game, right? We got so much momentum from that penalty kill alone, just from killing it, that like the game kind of changed tides. If they score, if they just get a bounce, like for example, on that Kerfoot play where he hits the post, if it rings around rather than going out of play,
That's huge. Yeah.
they've got, pretty much a 4-on-2, because we would have two guys go in the opposite direction than the puck.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
what if they score there? Like, you just need a little bit of bad puck luck in that like power play that Tampa had in the first 10 minutes. And this game could be completely different, right? Clifford can't be doing that.
Yeah.
That is the one gripe I have about this game.
Hands down, I agree.
Just Clifford.
I agree.
Like, it's just not acceptable.
But the momentum that they did carry, I guess.
Spencer would never.
Spencer would never.
Spencer would never. I said it before.
What was that? What was that penalty?
No, we don't.
What was that earlier in the season?
Spencer would never do anything dirty. Never. He's a saint. A goddamn angel.
Hey. One big thing though, with this momentum that the Leafs carry throughout the entire game, we got to see a lot of our players get some confidence in them, right? We saw Matthews get 2. We saw Marner. I believe he had 1 goal and 2 assists. He might have even been more at this point.
Matthews also got 3 points.
Yeah, there you go.
Both of them were at 3.
And it was.
Yep.
I really want to put a huge shout out to Marner, Mitch, like a lot, because Matthews, we know he's gonna get his goals, right? We know he's been playing well. Okay,
there have been questions.
That's not the same team.
I know, but there have been questions about his playoff performance, and that's kind of what I like want to get to. Is like Mitch and Austin, like this was a huge game for them, and this is a huge series for them. There's so many questions surrounding their clutch factor in the playoffs. Like we've seen them absolutely destroy regular seasons. We saw it the past 2 years.
Yeah, last year, I mean,
90-point guy.
There you go.
2 years, like 3 years now. Sorry.
And this year he was on pace for 100. And we also talk about the 60 goals that Austin scored, right? But if he was healthy, who knows? We could be having a conversation where he could be scoring 70.
Yeah, but like the questions were always there in the playoffs. Even
Exactly.
if he did score 70, like there's so much discourse in the Leafs, like media and fan base and other people's fan bases as well, when they're talking smack about us, about our players not being clutch. This was clutch by everyone,
and it's a huge weight off of their shoulders too.
Other than Clifford,
Every
player other than Clifford.
No, but it was I think it was a huge weight off of Marner's shoulder, right? Because again, a lot of the scrutiny was on Marner, right? He had 4 points, but he had no goals in the entire series where we needed him, right?
And he had that delay of game penalty last year. Like
exactly
that, like him and Matthews both were a big reason why we lost.
Exactly.
And I think
having them show up today is huge.
Yeah.
And it takes a chip off the shoulder. We talked about how Matthews, after he had this 5-game skid where we were questioning if he was going to even hit 60, right?
Yeah.
It just takes 1 goal to get it going. As soon as you have that one moment, you let momentum ride. You just ride the wave of momentum, right? So it's nice to see him get that goal, get those points right away, see them all clicking, and you hope and you pray that they just ride this momentum through the next game and moving forward in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I want to give a quick shout out to Greg Harden, who is a performance coach that we hired this season, I believe. And he's been working with Mitch Marner a lot. And Mitch spoken multiple times through the season about his conversations with Greg Harden. And like, we don't know what he's talked about. Like, we're not ever going to know what they've talked about. To me, it's clearly done wonders. He did not look at any point like he did in previous playoff series. You know what I mean? He wasn't making the non-Mitch Marner play. He looked like himself. Like when he got that delay of game penalty, and I forgot what game it was of the series. I think it was game 6. He had all the time in the world to make a play.
Yeah.
And he just turned around and rifled it. And you could tell he was gripping his stick too tight.
That's what
he did not grip his stick too tight today.
Yeah.
He was Mitch Marner. Mitch Magic Marner.
I like that.
Like he just was.
Uh-huh.
And we need that. We need that to succeed. We need our stars to be stars. And they were absolutely today. And even Nylander, who didn't even get a point, he was a big reason, that we had such a good first period.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He drew a penalty on a line drive, or not a line drive, on a drive to the net where Sergachev held him. He blocked a shot and then got a breakaway and almost scored off of it at the very end of the first period, I believe. You know,
Yeah.
that's building momentum. You may not get it on the point sheet, but he was a good player today as well.
Yeah.
So was Tavares. So was
I was going to bring
Riley.
that up. Yeah. Tavares,
Like,
that making a huge defensive play, and then that backed up by TJ Brody, where
TJ
he
Brody, yeah.
gets his stick out, gets a deflection off of Stamkos' essentially like open net shot, right?
Was that in the
huge.
first or second period?
That was, I believe, in the second.
I forgot what the score was.
That was in the second. It was, we were winning hard.
We were winning 2-0, right?
I think it was 2 or 3-0. It was, we were winning comfortably, but still, seeing them play with that vigor, even when they're up, and them not coasting, being like, "Hey, we're okay, we're up, we're just gonna let the game go." Yeah. Seeing them play with that aggression and that passion was so nice to see.
Yeah, you know, the score effects didn't matter in this game. You know, what's like score effects is like when you're up, you know, you generally give up more shots.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure the shots at the end of the game were like what 31-23 or something like that.
Wow.
Let me look it up. But yeah, like the Leafs never let off the gas at any point in that game. You know, we were down to the last minute. We were pouring it on.
Yeah.
We were great in transition. We were stopping their entries. We were forcing puck dumps. We were playing like a trap at one point when we were up like 4-0. We were playing a trap neutral zone play, the 1-3-1. And like we never gave up that offensive system while being super tight defensively. That was one of the most well executed games I've seen from the Leafs at all.
Yeah, we can't
let
stress
alone
that
in the
more
playoffs.
Yeah. And like, another player I really want to shout out, Kerfoot, man. That first period, absolutely. Especially when those when we got in that huge PK, right? Early on with the Cliffords. PK. Yeah, exactly. Kerfoot not only getting that shot up and hitting it off of the bar, unlucky that he couldn't get a goal on for that, but he was just playing super aggressive. He was being a pest essentially, right? He was going after the pucks, even when it was in Tampa's zone, right? He was
the forecheck on the penalty kill was incredible.
Beautiful. Like beautiful.
Yeah, you don't really see that from a lot of penalty kills, like that level of aggression when they're in their own end. Mm-hmm. I think it really caught him off guard, you know?
Yeah. Like they weren't expecting that really for sure. I wasn't expecting that, dude. Like Kerfoot's playing really well, and I really enjoy and see and like seeing a lot of our non-stars, our bench players essentially play well, right? Our non-stars. Yeah. That's a huge thing for me, because to win and go far in the playoffs, you need to have confidence in your supporting cast, right? Because injuries inevitably will be a thing. Even like we saw with Blackwell, or with Clifford going out tonight, right? You could get
forwards.
Yeah, you could get kicked, and you're gonna need to play more minutes, right? So seeing these non-starters play well is huge for their confidence, huge for flexibility for the Leafs, and it's given Sheldon Keefe a lot of confidence as well, saying that, hey, if something goes down, these guys can get called up right away, and they won't skip a beat, right? That's huge for the Leafs. And I think you were mentioning one specific thing about the Tampa's line last year that got screwed.
So like our third line matters a lot, right? That Kampf line, it's been huge for us in the defensive zone throughout the regular season, and it continues to be, in this game. And I was talking about like earlier to Harnish about the Gord, Coleman, Gaudreau line that Tampa had. That was huge for them, and they don't have that anymore. We're talking guys that got, like Coleman got a 6 by 4.9 million, Gord had a 6 by 5.16, and Gaudreau got a 6 by 3.6. That's nearly $14 million in cap. That is no longer on their team. And we can argue if they're worth that. Like Gaudreau, I think, is probably one that some people will argue he's not worth that, but he got that from an NHL team. That's his cap hit.
And they got it for performing. It's not like they weren't performing.
Yeah, and they were performing well. Champs. Exactly.
Yeah.
They were so important to that Tampa team. We have the opportunity to expose some of their depth issues now, because they don't have that to fall back on anymore. And now they need to rely on, I think Cirelli plays a lot of the defensive assignments, right? Like you can kind of work around that. And for us, it's super important that like Kampf and Engvall and Mikheyev and Kerfoot and Blackwell and whoever is our depth players, whoever's on that line with Kampf and Engvall, Nylander as well. It's important that these guys get, this type of play, and we can trust them to take those defensive assignments and transition that defensive context into an offensive context for our stars, for Matthews and Marner and Tavares and Nylander and whoever else, Riley, all of our offensive players. Kampf is super important for us. And so to me, my question was, can that Kampf line be that Gord line, but obviously a little worse because, that line's insane.
Yeah.
But can they take on tougher competition? And
they have kind of shown up for that, right?
Exactly.
They've played well, and it looks like they honestly can mimic that line. They can do that for the Leafs this year.
I tweeted earlier this week about Kampf because I was looking back on an old Jack Hahn article from before the season about David Kampf when he signed with us. Because at the time, I think a lot of people, including myself, were skeptical of the Kampf signing. He got, I think, a two years by 1.5 million, but he was coming off a 1-goal season, and that kind of tells you what you need to know about his finishing ability, and he's sort of an offensive black hole in that regard. But it also showed his advanced analytics weren't that good. So even the advanced analytics community, which I'm also a part of, was a little skeptical of it because it wasn't that great. But Jack Hahn nailed the point so well in his article that it kind of blew my mind looking back at it, how on point he was about his evaluation. And the title of the article is Kampf the next to know, right? Which is
that's high praise.
A big question. But in the article, I want to bring up one quote. And it says this: as the Leafs' third line center, I'd again be looking to pair him with flaky speed and warded skill. Like the Pittsburgh Penguins do when they align Nick Bonino with Carl Hagelin, one of the fastest but certainly not smartest players in the NHL, and right wing Phil Kessel, whose force and foibles we all know by now. And then he kind of goes on. Engvall and Mikheyev fit that to a T, a T. And he kind of goes into why that is. And it's because Kampf is so good at protecting the puck and so good at kind of diverting it to players and for rush chances. And that's kind of what I was talking about. He takes defensive assignments, protects the puck, gives it to guys who can go and get a rush chance. And they might not score. They're not great scorers, but they transition from the defensive zone to the offensive zone every damn time.
Yeah.
That is
they're great
so
facilitators. Agreed.
Yeah. So important because then Matthews and Tavares can go and they can take 70% of their draws in the ozone.
Yeah.
And they can operate under that offensive context because of guys like Kampf. And Kampf got rewarded so hard for it today. Draws a penalty on a rush chance on the shorthanded on a shorthanded break, scores later on shorthanded. This guy does not score often. He will not score often. I do not think he will score for the rest of the series, probably.
Are you really that down on him? Come on, man. Give him the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, he's got double digits this year, and that's his highest. That's what we're saying.
Hey, he's looking for a breakout year. We'll see.
Crazy good play, and he might not always show up on the score sheet, but I cannot stress how important I think David Kampf is because he's a natural center who can play defense well. We've never had that before. Never, ever, 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 ever.
Speaking a little bit of history. First of all, do you have another player that you want to, I guess, shout out before I tell you this fun fact?
Nylander. I shouted out, who else did I shout out? I shouted out Kampf. Campbell. I'm just going to put Campbell out there. He got a shutout again. It's funny because last time we did Game Over, he also got a shutout. And also I was he was an afterthought.
Yeah, actually, it's a good point. He
didn't have that much. He was fantastic.
No,
he was so steady.
Exactly.
He made such a nice glove save in the third period, but
he had some chances, and
but he stopped everything he faced.
Exactly. Yeah.
He played so well defensively again that I didn't feel he had a ton of stuff to do. We're talking 23 shots when you're up 5-0. That should be when the opposing team is just pouring shots on him. And we kept him to 23. That is amazing defensive structure. Amazing. I'm so incredibly impressed.
This team is
with the way
so
the Leafs
well
played
balanced.
today.
Yeah.
And it's one game. It's one game. Let's
No,
not
no,
get
no,
ahead
no,
of
no,
ourselves.
no, 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 no. Listen, I'm already planning the parade. I don't know what you're talking about. Get the bus,
Yeah.
get everything.
My Twitter
We're
handle is Plan the
going
Parade
on.
22 that I made in June of 2021. So,
Hey, you're a prophet, man. You called
let's
it.
go.
You called it last year.
2021 or 2022, not 2021.
2022.
We forgot about 2021. That doesn't matter anymore.
Hey, okay. Perfect segue, actually. Could not have planned this better. Speaking about playoff run and Stanley Cup Championship, did you know 55 years ago to this day was the last time the Leafs won the Stanley Cup? May 2nd, 1919.
Oh, to this day.
To this day. May 2nd,
that's hilarious.
1967. We won in Maple Leaf Garden where we beat the Montreal Canadiens 1-3, getting our 13th Stanley Cup. Is this an omen, Armand?
No, that made me depressed.
No, listen. I don't believe in fairy tales, but I mean, the amount of curses that this Leafs team has, this has to be a good omen. Like destroying the Tampa, the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions on the day we last won the Stanley Cup.
All right,
we're winning. Plan the parade right now.
I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but we're winning the cup.
We're with the cup.
We are. We're just winning the cup. You know, it's written. You know, don't clip this for when we.
No. Clip this. If we don't win, let us know. But we're winning the cup. Tweet this back at us at the end of the season. We're gonna have a cup in our hand.
Yeah, we will. Like us specifically.
But yeah, it was a fun fact. I've been waiting like all game or like all day essentially to talk about this. I know. I was so excited to say this, but I kind of wanted to segue this into historically how the Leafs have done in recent history, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously we won this game. This is huge for us, right? Yeah. But historically, right? Since 2018, if we look at the 2018 series with the Bruins, right? The Leafs were down 2-0. We fought back to get to a 3-3. All series tied completely. Series, exactly. And the 7th, we had a huge collapse. 2019, similar thing happened. We had a huge stinker in Game 7, losing 1-5. 2020 against the Blue Jackets. Do we really want to talk about this game? Like it was a tight series. We didn't even make
the playoffs that year, technically.
Yeah, I know. It was a tight series. And then, round. Well, again, Game 5, the final round of the series, lost 3-0. Yeah, Habs, I don't even want to talk about the Habs.
3-1, and we only scored with like 90 seconds to go.
We don't want to talk about the Habs. Okay, forget about the and Berkshire. You don't give him more fuel. But yeah, like that's the thing, right? We talk. Yeah, the Leafs historically, like I know there hasn't been a lot of Game 1 wins, but just keep in mind this is still Game 1. We are saying like plan the parade. I know I'm like contradicting myself here, but
you got to keep your foot on the gas.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point.
Don't give him an inch.
You
cannot
let go.
Complacent.
Yeah,
you can't get complacent. We've gotten complacent before in playoff series in the past. You can't. They will kill you. The Tampa Bay Lightning will kill you if you give them an inch.
Yeah, and even if we get past this, there's still Florida. If Florida makes it, but definitely they're gonna make it. But the whole run to get to a stand. Yeah, I know. The whole run to get to the finals is going to be difficult no matter what. And the first step of the way is beating the Lightning, right? We've done 1 out of 4 of our wins that we need in this series, right?
Yeah, and
there's still 3 more games that we need.
But winning Game 1 is so important. Like you said, we historically we haven't done well in Game 1s. We have 1 win out of the last 5 series. 1 win, and that was in 2019.
In Game 1. Yeah.
In Game 1, yeah. Sorry. It puts you behind. Like if we're talking like statistics, it probably puts you behind like 7-8% in terms of your chances of winning. You know, like it's a big deal because you have to win 1 less. Like you have to win 1 less game. You need 3 out of 6, and they need 4 out of 6.
Especially if you have home ice advantage, right?
Like just the whole point. Wise, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Numbers wise, it's so important. And to come out and to dominate like we did is something I've never seen before.
Yeah. Which is why we're still on the plan the parade.
Plan the parade, baby. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, like, okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. Okay. Right?
Okay.
And be honest.
Okay.
How did you feel before this game? And how do you feel now? Like, were you actually confident going into the series
that we were gonna win?
We would not necessarily we would win, but we would look like that. Like, were
Okay.
you confident we would play and execute to that level?
No way. No way. I don't think anyone has. If someone tells you that they predicted the Toronto Maple Leafs to come out 5-0 in the first game, go on a major penalty and outshoot the Tampa Bay Lightning, you're a liar. There's no way you're saying you're being truthful in that, right?
Yeah, and like, you know, with the last 2 seasons, Tampa won the cup both times, and we lost in the first round to teams we were the clear favorites against. You know? And like, even in the season series, like, you know, it was close. Like, we're comparable teams. But if you just factor in playoffs, like, I don't think many people were expecting this out of us. I don't think many people were expecting this type of game. And I don't think many people were expecting this type of game from Tampa either. I don't think people were expecting them to get shut down the way they did.
Now, do you think they underperformed, or do you think that we just played
both,
dominated?
Both. I don't think you're going to see that game again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that game from Tampa, they will adjust. They are a good team with a fantastic coach.
That's kind of like a once in a lifetime kind of game too. Like
game 2,
it's a historic game.
Yeah, I'm not expecting that type of like play from them. You know, I'm expecting them to fix their power play firstly, because it was god awful compared to our penalty kill. Like, they couldn't get anything going on the power play for the first like 2 periods. They got a couple chances after, but like
towards the end of the second period, they did turn it up. But again, it's too little, too late at that point, right?
And our penalty kill was like just completely stifled them. You expect things to change. You know, they are a good team. You can't get complacent.
Yeah.
If you do get complacent, they'll eat you alive. You won 1 game. You got 3 more to go.
Yeah, there's still the whole fan base is behind them, but exactly, you gotta prove it, right? You've shown time and time again that we've had some issues with proving it afterwards, right? But this is a clean slate, right? Remember this.
And they're also
it's the playoffs.
They're not gonna go quiet. Like, they didn't go quiet this game. That line brawl at the end, they didn't go quiet. They like, you know, when we're talking about like Keith's quote at the beginning about starting scrums, we saw it.
Yeah,
they're not gonna sit back and like die like we do in Game 7.
Hey, neither team will do that, because remember the last game that the Leafs played against the Lightning, right, where they got shelled 8-1.
Yeah,
the Leafs were aggressive too.
There's a bit of snarl to this team. There's a bit of snarl to this team compared to last series.
Yeah,
or
and
last season.
I like to see it. Although obviously the Leafs' forte is their skill. It's by far their offense.
You win
skill.
by that.
Exactly.
We're not a tough team.
You want to make sure that if they're getting chippy, you shove it right back at them. We're not gonna sit down, and we're not gonna get run over by you guys, right?
Yeah.
But there's a way to do that too. There's the way that some of the penalties were taken, probably not the best, but still.
Keith definitely had that mentality, and we played hard all night, and part of that is good because obviously we didn't give them any sort of momentum, but also part of that is like you said, we took some dumb penalties. Like, Mikheyev had 2 pretty stupid penalties. You know, they were kind of soft. Babushkin had a really soft penalty, but you know, there's still penalties. You know, you can't going down, like, you know, I know the PK was amazing for us, but going down a man for that like many times in a game over a large sample is not going to work out for you.
Yeah,
you know,
for either teams. It wasn't just for the Leafs. For either teams. Agreed, definitely.
I think we're gonna see a pretty big adjustment in Game 2 into either by the refs or by the teams into how they play. Because
the refs are trying. They look at how many penalty minutes they threw out. Yeah,
but Game 2 they might not be trying. It's NHL, man. Refing is game to game. You have no idea what you're gonna get. Like,
yeah. Well, okay. Now that we're kind of on that, what are your predictions for the next game then? What do you think?
I think the Leafs come out strong and we take 2 from home.
Okay.
I personally think we're going to go into Tampa with a 2-0 series lead.
Okay.
And I think series prediction, as long as they don't get complacent, I think the Leafs can win it in 6.
In 6. Hey,
I'm saying 6.
Listen,
just so
you're saying this
the 7th game.
Yeah. But you're also saying this after the first game. Where's your predictions? I posted my predictions on Twitter before, although it was like 30 minutes right before the playoffs started, but I posted it before.
What'd you guess?
I posted at 7.
Leafs in 7?
Yeah, I kind of baited out a little bit. I was so tempted to put
Weak.
Leafs in 4, but then I was like, people are gonna roast me.
And they should. Anyone who has Leafs in 4 is ridiculous. Anyone who has Tampa in 4 is also ridiculous. But I also said that about the Brooklyn Nets series. So,
Yeah.
my predictions aren't that great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think the next game is gonna be a lot more skill based. It's gonna be locked down quite a bit.
I think it's going to be way lower scoring.
Okay, but my prediction on goals, I believe it's going to be 3-1 for the
guessing the score.
Leafs. Yes, 3-1
right.
for the Leafs. They're gonna go up 2-0 in the series, and then they're gonna win. So maybe they'll trade games and
give up.
Tampa. Yeah,
I don't think they're going to 7. I'm gonna put it on the line. I think they win an elimination series or what's it called? A clinching series, clinching game in a series early. And I think that's, we talk about like demons and stuff in game 7. We had so many chances to clinch against Montreal.
Yeah.
That's also a huge problem for us. We couldn't.
Yeah, we were up like 3-1 in that series
that we talked about so often in the offseason. We never had that killer instinct. I think they get over that hump. I think we kill them.
See,
before we even get
that's a double-edged sword too, right? Because you're saying, yeah, obviously you want to beat them before you get to that game 7, but also I want to see them perform in game 7 as well. It's a double-edged sword. You kind of, obviously I'd prefer them to win in 6, right? But yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of games to go. We'll see where it kind of goes.
Yeah, you got to beat the best to be the best, and
yeah,
we're
and
on our way to that.
best.
Also, side note, that Liljegren goal should have counted.
Oh yeah, that was past the line.
The angle they showed on the broadcast clearly showed white. I don't know what they were looking on the thing. I'm guessing what happened is that because the camera isn't directly over, there must have been some sort of perspective thing where it wasn't actually,
Yeah, you know what I think?
Just looked like it was.
Mercy rule.
Shut up. No. I highly doubt that. But yeah. I think Liljegren should have his first playoff goal, and I think we should have won 6-0. So you know what? Screw the NHL. We win anyways. What a game!
Just cross out the 6-0 win, not 5-0.
Yeah. Honestly. Also, the crowd was so amazing tonight.
Oh, dude, they were letting Stamkos have it, eh?
Yeah, like when Stamkos missed that empty net on the power play where he had such a wide open cage, a yawning cage. And then he just fluffed the shot, and they were cheering like Stamkos.
Leafs fans are amazing, man. Even like the 60 goal for Matthews, like we were the Leafs fans were standing up for the entire time. It was like for a solid 5-6 minutes. Like after the puck dropped, they were still standing and cheering for them. When the Leafs are playing well, the fans are going to be behind this team no matter what.
And it's important because we got home ice advantage. This is like that is an advantage. You know what I mean? Like obviously.
Definitely.
Obviously it is, but at the same time, it's like you kind of see it here.
Yeah.
I think we got into the Lightning heads a little, and not necessarily the crowd did or the Leafs, but like everything combined, they just didn't look scary. They didn't look scary ever. We just neutralized the shit out of them.
Yeah. Well,
they didn't have anything, man.
We'll
23
see.
shots in a playoff game where you're down 5-0. How do we do like?
They kind of just gave up. It seemed like they just gave up.
I don't even think they gave up. Like, I think we just beat them. Like, we just
humiliated them.
Every entry. Yeah, they weren't even like. It's not like they pulled up. They just couldn't get anything going.
Yeah.
They did for a little bit on the power play at one point. When Stamkos almost scored there, and then it just goes away. And I never felt any sense of dread in that game, and I can never say that like for any Leafs playoff game. Like I've always felt dread. That's my default state when watching the Leafs.
Yeah.
How the hell did we pull that off? Like it was such
this team
perfectly
is so
executed.
Good. I'm so excited for game 2, and just we're gonna be back. Well, the game over Toronto.
No,
Rahif will be back on game over Toronto. When is that? On Wednesday?
Wednesday. Yep.
Wednesday. So Wednesday, be sure to tune in. Rahif killed it with Omar last episode. I just want to give a quick shout out. They absolutely killed it, and I'm so excited to see her come break down the next game. Right. That's it for us.
Also, quick shout out, Eid Mubarak to anyone who celebrates.
Yes, definitely.
I think your night went very well if you're a Leafs fan. So, hats off. But yeah, what a game.
Yeah.
What an absolutely stellar, amazing game.
Mhm.
We're two for two in terms of games we've analyzed.
Hey.
Over. We
Dare
are the
I
team.
say we're good luck charms, huh? Like,
Go Leafs.
all you needed was two boys that
Don't know
clearly
what
are
they're
not
talking about.
qualified to talk about the Leafs. That's all you needed.
The highest level of hockey I played was house league. Let's go.
I've only played floor hockey in grade 6.
Yeah, at least I can skate.
Yeah, but that's gonna do it for us here. Thank you guys for watching. Another thing, sorry, I have so many shout outs I need to give. I'm so sorry, but last week you guys were phenomenal. I was so nervous when we were actually recording. I honestly didn't even have the chat open at that time. I was so nervous, but the love that was shown to us was phenomenal. Thank you guys so much. We love you guys. We can't wait for our next game. And this is gonna be a great season. This is gonna be a great season. So make sure you guys make sure you guys subscribe, make sure you hit the bell, and give Rahev some love for Wednesday. Give the Leafs some love. That's it from us. Have a great night.
Game over, still undefeated. Let's go.
Hey.